Hi, this is Greg with a quick update from Joffreny Nature. To start with, the Kestrels have now got a new box which they're occupying, and we can see here the male in the box, just waiting for the female to arrive in slow motion. Here she comes. So they seem to be quite happy now in their new box, which their old box was taken over by the Tawny Owls. Now the Little Owls, we don't have any cameras in the Little Owl nest at the moment, but we can clearly see that there is a pair in residence, and they quite often pop up on the perch on the barn in the early hours. So the Little Owls definitely in nesting mode. Then the Tawny Owls that took over the Kestrel box. Very surprised yesterday to see the female move out of the box and reveal that all 3 eggs have hatched. So we have 3 furry little balls there. You can see 3 chicks and quite a lot of bits of vole. And here we see the external view of the mother in the Kestrel box ripping up a vole and feeding it to one of the young. You can just see the youngster poking out from underneath mother's feathers there. Then a close-up from inside, the youngster chomping away on a bit of vole. So that's the top of mother's head there, pulling the vole apart, and 2 beaks that time. I think the 3rd beak is just about to pop out. There it is. So that's the 3rd beak coming out from underneath mum to get a mouthful of vole. So they're not having any trouble finding food, it would seem, despite the huge amount of rain that we've had recently. So all's looking good in the Tawny Owl box. Warm, dry, and plenty of food. Meanwhile, in the barn owl box, just on the other side of the wall, mum, as we've just recently seen, is getting a bit peckish. She sat on eggs, and yes, we have 6 eggs. And unusually as well, they normally feed on voles, but this looks to be a lot bigger than a vole. I'm not really quite sure of the scale as to whether that's a big mouse or a small rat, but that's a bit bigger than the mouthfuls that the barn owl is usually trying to cope with. And here she's ripping it apart and eating small beakfuls. But soon gets fed up with that. So a few minutes later, she tries a new strategy. This time she's fed up with pulling it apart. She's going to see if she can swallow the whole thing. Here we go. Let's see if we can get that down in one go. Beginning to think she might have pecked off more than she can chew on this one, I think. They normally don't have any problem with the voles, but this is clearly much bigger than a vole. So the second attempt didn't work. Let's have another go. I love the expression here as she turns round to the camera. Having realised again that she might have pecked off more than she can chew. So she does come back to it. And this time, after a bit more effort, a couple of minutes later, after a bit of rest, she does eventually manage to neck the whole rodent, tail and all. Nearly there. But as with the tawnies we've seen before, there are obviously no problem with food. There are lots of voles, and in this case probably a mouse, large mouse. So eventually I think she's managed to get it down. She's going to relax back onto the eggs. She's going to need all of her strength, because once those chicks have hatched, the pair of barn owls will be bringing in anywhere between 25 and 30 voles per night for about 2 months, which is an awful lot of voles. So I think she's just going to relax back down onto the eggs now. Continue incubating. So move back over and cover those eggs up. Keep them warm. And they should be hatching quite soon, I should think. In the next week or so I might see something hatching in there, a week or two at least maybe. And there you go, one very contented mother barn owl and her 6 eggs. Thanks for watching. See you in the next news